All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So it's currently evening where I am. You're welcome to another episode of the Encouragement Series. I am the encourager. My name is Osomoken Josephine Omoniyi. I'm the convener and the host of our monthly virtual series titled the Encouragement Series. Basically, the Encouragement Series is monthly, like I said, and is targeted towards encouraging us concerning our mental health on different aspects. So over, I think a little over a year now, we started last year, and we've had conversations on how we can improve our mental health from a human resource perspective, from a lawyer's perspective. We've talked about from an international student's perspective, from a new mom's perspective, a new dad's perspective. We've talked about, our mental health after a loss. So you can see that this series is targeted at improving your mental health. I understand that we come from different areas in our lives, so I don't just want to just talk about mental health very very broadly. So every month I bring professionals, I bring seasoned guests that talk about their journey, their mental health journey, their struggles, their wins, and how they were able to overcome all of these challenges to improve their mental health. Last month we talked about my mental health as in a male Nigerian business owner, and it was amazing. We had two business owners currently in Nigeria, but operating on an international basis, and they shared with us how their journey has been with the ups and downs, the instability in the economy, but how they're still able to stay afloat, you know, their mental health. So you can see that in that aspect, we had business owners join our show, last month. So this month, November, somebody say November, woo! Yes, although it's the last day of November, but still, we this show is hosted every last Thursday of the month by 8 p.m. West African time. So that's why we're having it today. And this month, we're talking about my mental health using ART, as a useful tool. Yes. So let that sink in a bit. And art is not just limited to you drawing. Art is anything that has to do with creativity. So, are you a writer? Are you a singer? Are you a dancer? Are you basically a creative? This show for today is targeted at letting you know that your mental health can improve when you use art the right way. All right. So I will be calling up my guest shortly. He is an exceptional person. I have worked with him in the past. So just relax. Just relax. If you're here, please invite someone. You shouldn't listen to this alone. Yeah, you shouldn't listen to this alone. So I'm gonna be reading up his profile very, very soon. Once again, you're welcome to the November edition of the Encouragement Series. So let me just read his profile just a second. Okay. Okay, so I think he's ready for us. So I'm going to be bringing him up now, and then I will be reading his profile. Great. So I have with me Mr. Chukwudumebi Tochukwu Okuagu. I was about to say Tobechuku, but no, it's Tochuku. All right, so Mr. Dumebi is an artist and an art therapist with a background in psychology. He hails from Anambra State, Nigeria. He is very enthusiastic about mental health. So, like I shared earlier on our social media platforms, you really, really should check him out. He's a seasoned artist. He's also a comedian, right? Talk about being a creative, right? And he's also an art therapist. So I met maybe sometime last year. Yes, we worked together in a psychological facility in Lagos, and he opened my eyes to how art can really be used as a tool to improve the mental health of my clients then. He taught me how to interpret drawings, how to know when my clients are in a good mood, bad mood, when all of their thoughts are scattered, and when they're together. It was a very nice time. I said, no, I have to bring him on board. So understanding that art is an expression of what we do on the inside, I am pleased to bring up Dumebi Okuagu, an artist, an art therapist, a comedian, book where he's also an Instagram influencer. Super, super grateful to have you with us, Dumebi. You are welcome. I think you can unmute your mic. Your mic is not mute, is muted.
Oh, sorry. Hello, good evening. Sorry,
Hi, hi, Dumebi.
I'm blushing with the introduction you gave. Yeah, so
Okay,
I'm
so
really honored
Dumebi,
to
have
be
you
here.
been? Yeah, we're
I've
honored to
been
have
well. I've been
you
very
with
fine,
us.
thank you. I've been
Okay,
very
okay,
fine,
great.
thank you. Yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you once again. Thank you to our audience. Okay, Edo Queen is saying welcome to me B. So just in case you have questions, please wait till the end of the show, and then our dear art therapist will take your questions. All right. So we're talking about my mental health, my mental health. Before we even go into art, as a psychologist, I find it important that we first establish what mental health is. So, what is your own understanding of mental health, Maybe?
Okay, so I think mental health, has to do generally with our psychological well-being, our social well-being, our emotional well-being generally. So how because how these three dimensions I mentioned now, however they are or whatever state they are in, they determine how we function as human beings generally. Yes, so I think a sum total of these are what you call your mental health generally. So your thought process, your psychological well-being, your emotional well-being, your social well-being. Yes.
I like that. I like that. Thank you so much. So I agree with you. I like the fact that you talk that it is broad. So mental health is not just about your mind, it's also about the way you're thinking, the way you're feeling, even the way
Mhm.
you relate with people. Right? We see that as a
Yeah.
very important component here in psychology. So thank you so much. So looking at
Thank you.
art, okay, looking at art, and so we're talking about art, using art as a useful tool. So
So
there are a lot of definitions of art, but I'll just say, this one by Cambridge Dictionary, the making or showing or performance of painting, acting, dancing, and music. So it just shows that, art is multifaceted, right? So we have the painting aspect, we have the
yeah,
drawing
multifaceted.
aspect,
Yeah.
we have the acting, dancing, music. So, what is the link between all of this? What is the link between art, which we just explained, and the mind? What is the link? Or is there a link?
Mhm. Absolutely, there is a link. There is actually a link between art and mental health. Because when you look at what art does for you, the effects it has some effects that have been proven through research on our mental health. You know, art helps our emotional expression, the way we express our emotions. It helps with mindfulness, it helps us to focus on the here and now. That's during the process of that art creation, right? So it helps with sorry, it also helps with our cognitive well-being. It has cognitive benefits. For us, it has
Okay.
neurological well-being, like the kind of chemicals that are being secreted when you're creating art, right? So there is a lot. It helps us in building connections and community. It helps us to man is a social animal, and we function better with functioning in a community. That is how
Yeah.
as a species, been able to survive through the years. Right? So it's not like we're not the strongest, we're not the biggest, we're not the. I don't think we're bigger than dinosaurs and all, but because of the fact that we've been able to work as a community, we've been able to survive over
Mm.
the years. So art has that effect. When you try to create networks, it helps you to bond. You know, yes. So aesthetics
Yeah.
as well. It helps us to create aesthetical pleasure. So that's whether it's visual arts, listening to music, literature, storytelling, and all. It has the aesthetic pleasure as well. So yeah, there's a lot of connection between art and mental health. Yes,
Wow. Wow.
I can go on
Amazing.
and on
Thank
and on.
you. Yeah. So what
Yes.
some things I noted down here, you said it's an emotional expression. And I totally agree with you because you hear some people say, oh, they are in this particular mood and then they want to go and write.
Yeah.
They say, oh, they are in a particular frame of mind and then they want to, compose a lyric of a song,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I I totally agree with you that it can be used as an emotional expression, and also about when you talked about connectivity and bond. So you know how we are in Nigeria. No matter what happens, we like to we like to cruise. So whether
Yeah.
it was during the election time or is now that everybody talking about Sapa or what is it? We have a way of using all of these art expressions. So you go online and then you see memes. You go online and then you
Mm-hmm.
see
Very true.
drawings, and then they put
Very
our
true.
politicians
Very
and then
true.
they put ourselves. So it's still a
Mm-hmm.
way we bond with ourselves. We go, we laugh. Even some of the skits you do, right? They are all artistic, and I can also say, art is also used for recreation, right? Because we realize that, like the song says, problem no they finish. So we need to look for ways we can relax our minds, which art can be used for. Okay, so even about the aesthetics part, I've seen people who are, I'm sure these are your customers now, people who love paintings. People who love painting, they just want to put
Yeah.
paintings
Yeah.
around their house. Can you talk about that? So what does that do?
See, it has it,
Thrilled about
it
paintings, but
has
I'll come
a
and buy a painting for 1 million naira and put it in my house.
yeah.
So what's the connection?
It has this when I say art has this effect on people, it has this connection that myself I've not even been able to explain very well. But you see situations where like there was an exhibition my friends and I
Yeah.
hosted, and we did some different we featured several artworks, and one of the artworks I featured was something I rushed and I did. I was not even happy with the outcome, right? Because I was even starting out at the time. But there was a lady that came and then she said, "This artwork is my favorite in this gallery." I was like, what is
Wow.
this woman see in this artwork? So she started talking about how the storyline connects with her. So the artwork was about
Hmm.
people who others see them as superheroes, but on the inside they are just confused and evil human beings. And she said that's her story. She
Hmm.
bought the artwork just because of that connection. So sometimes people have maybe you see an artwork and it reminds you of a particular scenery of when you were small. You know, it just connects to it, and people are willing to pay crazy amounts of money for it. I
Yeah.
mean, there's the business side of it too, like when you're a
Of
popular
course.
artist and people just want to buy your name.
Yeah.
But this connection thing, is the real thing actually. It happens a lot.
Yeah, so it's like art is telling a story. You see,
Yes.
people paying lots of money to attend concerts. It's still about art
Yeah.
because music is part of art. So
Mm-hmm.
I see that. So how can we say that all of these different forms of art now can be used to promote mental well-being? How can we improve our minds? I know we've talked about mindfulness a bit, but if we can go deeper, how can we use, so is
Yeah.
it visual art? Is it music? Is it literature? You can pick any of these ones and then just tell
Yeah.
us how we can use them to promote our mental well-being.
Okay. So there are a couple of them, like you said. There is visual, there is drama, there is music,
Yeah,
and all that. So let me go first with visual art, since that is the one I do.
yes, yes,
So
please.
yeah, so it can help us in a lot of ways to improve our mental well-being. You know, in the sense that if not for any other thing, it helps you to improve to have mindfulness and relaxation. So when you're during the process of creating that art, you're onboarding, or you're not thinking about your worries. Basically, you're just focused on the here and now. You're trying to create that art, it helps you to relax as well. Focus on the here and now, and then you get to understand that your problems can be can they are not who you are. They are just an aspect of yourself. You can always they are separate from you. You can take them out of the studio at any point and then bring them back in. So
Yeah,
sorry about the noise.
no problem.
Okay, so apart from that, we have art gives you a sense of accomplishment as well. You know,
Okay.
so there are times when there's this video I was watching, and somebody said a good way to start your day is to at least dress your bed. That little
Mm,
thing has this sense of completion. It gives you this sense of accomplishment that you've achieved something little today. So you can actually scale it up to achieve bigger things. You know. So that works as well for art. Whenever you start an artwork, it's advisable to complete it. And when you finish it, it has this different feeling. Even for me as an artist, when I finish an artwork, I just stay for a while and then stare at it and just wonder like, wow, I remember everything that was happening around me when I was creating it, the
yeah,
struggles, the place that have questions. Am I sure I'm getting it right? Those kind of things. It's like you just completed the project. There's this sense of
yeah,
fulfillment you feel, So there's so it creates a supportive environment as well. So like I said, community, creating a community for you, creating a society, gives you this social well-being, gives you this connection with your society and the people around you. So that's another benefit as well of the visual art. Then for the medium, for example,
yeah,
sometimes people tend to. There are times when people might want to use crafts. So, like let's say they want to mold, they want to sculpt, for example.
yeah.
Yeah, because maybe that's how they feel. They want to actually feel the process, like they are maybe they're hands on and they want to feel the process of creating that art. Then there are sometimes when it could be, let's say, collage. Collage is a very good example, yes.
Okay.
So there are situations whereby somebody was traumatized, or even as a little child, you're trying
Mm,
to tell your story. You might not be able to draw very well because you're not skilled. So you're
mm,
given a magazine with different pictures, and they tell you to cut out different pictures to tell your story. So you see how you can now carve out some pictures or things that are symbolic or actual representation of what happened in that situation. So
wow.
that's a very good example as well to help people to be able to express themselves through visual arts. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, some people they, yeah,
So more or less like, processing information. So this
yes,
point you just talked about processing information or processing trauma, as the case may be, or a traumatic event.
yes, mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm, yes.
Okay. Sorry for cutting short.
Visual
Go
art has
ahead.
been known to help. Yeah, visual art has been known to help people with anxiety, depression, trauma. That helps people deal with trauma. There's music therapy. Just to touch a little on the other ones. They have been known to help people with mood disorders, to help you feel better. Even as a normal, as a healthy individual, there are times when you feel down and you just listen to your favorite song and you don't know when you finish cleaning the house, you start effects.
Oh,
Yes, music even helps people with autism.
yeah. Okay.
Music helps.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes,
yes.
yes,
So
yes.
to learn to
Neurodivergence.
play certain instruments, they learn to follow some notes, compose music or even listen to certain kind of music as well. They help them to learn. You know, drama therapy, for example, drama therapy can help people with like when they are doing role playing. So, for example, um, someone has lacks the social skills to communicate
Like
socially.
anxiety. Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
thinking about that now.
yes,
Social
like
anxiety.
anxiety. Yes, yes. So drama therapy can come in, can help the person to develop such skills. So they do role playing, you take a particular role and all that, and then you you try to help the person. Yeah, He's a big
Wow.
field on his own. So, but yes,
Yeah. Yeah, and should I say fortunately or unfortunately, it is still a growing industry. That's this art therapy is still a growing industry in Nigeria.
yes,
You know, when we go for international conferences, or when I go
yeah,
for international conferences, I see how, you know, like you mentioned, drama therapy, play therapy, water therapy, right? All of these things are artistic. And I'm just like saying, wow, wow,
yeah,
wow. So spot on. I really, really agree with you, right? So even role play, we use it as therapists as well,
yes.
not even knowing that we're taking it from principles of drama therapy because we want our clients to
From
feel
drama
in
therapy.
yeah, we want our clients to feel in control of their emotions. So we tell them, okay, you're gonna act like your mom today, and then you're gonna tell me
Yeah,
what your mom will do, that kind of thing. So so
yeah.
things like that, very, very, I agree. So even the music part. So yesterday, everybody was posting about Spotify, you know, the summary of your Spotify usage for the year, and then it was amazing because a lot of people spend time listening to either podcasts or music for one reason or the other, and that too could promote our mental well-being. So, take for example, you are stressed. I always use this example. If you're working in Lagos and then let's say you live in Aja and you're working in Apapa, for example, and you're stuck in traffic, you can't do anything about the traffic. But what you can do is you can control your thoughts or your emotions about the traffic. So what are you doing? You just play music on your way home. Yes, you know you're tired. Yes, you know you're stressed, but you can't control
Yeah.
any of that. So I'm just playing, let's say Nathaniel versus Tobechuku, or I'm playing Jesus Ye because I know that I'm not going to stay in that kind of job forever, something like that. So it can actually, you know,
Yes.
instead of just thinking of,
When you had,
uh, go ahead.
yeah, I was saying when you had like a terrible argument with your partner at home and you're going to work, you don't want to take that mood to the office. Before you get to the office, you're on the way playing to Bechiku or something that will uplift your spirit.
Exactly,
That's
exactly,
therapeutic
exactly.
in itself. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is. And, you know, even moving on to my next question, which you already answered in terms of stress reduction and emotional expression. So, which is what you even mentioned, because like this example we just gave now, when we are stressed, basically our body's response responding to an unpleasant or uncomfortable situation. So in the case you mentioned, you know, an argument with a partner. But for me, if I had such, I would just write or I would, you know, record a voice note about how I'm feeling. That is art. And then I feel so much better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my
Mm-hmm.
stress has been reduced. So I've been able
That makes a lot
to
of sense.
come in control of my emotions so I can communicate better to my spouse. I say, babe, oh, you upset me, or that kind of thing. Right? But if I just go with that anger and then I just go and meet him,
Yeah,
obviously it will explode. But a lot of us don't know that we can use these art tools, you know, for our
yeah.
our good.
To buy
So could you talk
yourself
about
reasonable time to
mindfulness a
follow.
bit? Yeah. So could you talk about mindfulness a bit? I know you talked about it, you know, being present, but using art. I know I've watched you in some of your sessions. There's, you know, something you do in the beginning to prep them
Yeah,
for the session. So how can mindfulness and
yeah.
art be linked to, you know, stress reduction and emotional expression? So art,
Okay,
I
so
would call it. Okay, okay, go ahead. If you got the question.
okay, yeah. So mindfulness, for example, it's important to whenever before you create anything, it's important to have a good state of mind,
Hmm.
because whatever state of mind you're in is going to tell on your work. So that's why most of the time before I start my sessions, I want to do mindfulness exercises. So, for
Okay.
example, I tell them do breathing techniques. Take your mind away from wherever it is. Try to focus on the nostrils, the air passing going through your nostrils. Try to
Yeah.
focus on. So, like for example, the one I did today with my patients, I was telling them to pick a particular picture in their mind, the picture relating to how they feel at the moment. It's just
Okay.
whatever the picture is, they should just have the picture in their mind. If it's positive, you hold on to it. If it's negative, you blow it
You
away.
let it
So
go.
I actually demonstrated to them, you blow it like this, watch it fade away. And when you say watch it fade away, it has this effect, which is different from just let's go, forget the image. So when you say watch it fade away, gradually you see it evaporating from your mind, sort of, you know.
Yeah.
And I tell them to create a picture based on hope in their mind, to create a picture based on hope. So hope is something that keeps we human beings going. Christians might believe have a hope for a better life in heaven. Muslims might have a hope for a better life in their heaven. I don't know what they call their heaven, but people that hope keeps people going. People have hope that when they grow up, they are going to be something in life. If not, I
Yeah.
think almost every child will commit suicide. So that hope keeps people going. So I think that to create a picture based on hope, try to pick a color from that picture. So even if you're not imagining it well, when I say pick a color, you can now it's as if you can see the picture in front of you because you have to pick a particular color from that picture. Now I said focus on the texture of the picture. Focus on the texture. How is it? Is it rough? Is it smooth? Is it glossy? So I started giving them details like this to work with, and you could see how it helped it aided their imagination, better.
Yeah.
So when you do things like that, by the time you do this kind of mindfulness exercise, when you do this kind of mindfulness exercise, you see that whatever stress you are going through, whatever worry you had before there, it's almost impossible to still hold on to it while you're trying to create your own imagination now. So you'll be forced to let go of whatever it is. Then you now focus on the here and now. So if you're going through stress, for example, I could tell you to pick hammer colors to create art. So we're going to create art, but I want you to use only colors like cyan, light blue, yellow, orange,
Right.
light green, bright colors. I just give you this one and I tell you to create art for me. So whatever you're creating as at that time, you know that those colors they have an effect on you. We humans, we have like in our primitive mind, there are colors that stimulate us subconsciously. You see how a lot of eateries they use yellow and red in their logo to stimulate hunger and appetite. These are things that we can't tell. Even after knowing about it, subconsciously you're stimulated. Tech companies use blue a lot. Blue stimulates trust in our primitive
Wow.
mind. So when you know about the effect that colors have on you and you're feeling a certain type of way, you can even do it for yourself. You pick certain colors and you start creating art. Before you know, you start feeling it. Like I had a patient that when she came in, she was suffering from I think it's borderline, yeah, borderline personality disorder. So she was really not in a good place at all. She had trust issues. I think you know the symptoms already.
Yeah.
So when she came into the rehab, she was using dark colors. All her, you tell her to make a landscape for you. She'll paint the sky dark blue or black. Put some rock stars. Create a very messy grass scenery or something. She just makes very rough and dark kind of art. But before she left, it was just like clockwork, like magic. She started making beautiful pictures. Almost all her sessions during her last week were sunflowers. She made sunflowers, she would choose brighter skies and things like that. And I had no effect. I wasn't really telling her what to do. I gave her all the colors, the same colors that she had when she came in.
Beginning.
So you see that one she had actually changed her view of the world generally, and she was reporting to be happier before she left, much happier
Yeah.
before she left. So it helps us
Yeah.
relax a lot. Yes.
Amazing.
So
Wow.
another
Wow.
way, even as an individual,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay,
Sorry. You guys,
even as
if
an
you know
individual, you can
that,
do some of this mindfulness.
go ahead. Go ahead. Just subscribe to our channel, like this video, share this with someone. This is totally free. Dumebi is doing free art therapy session for you. So please call someone to watch this video. All right, go ahead, Dumebi. This is wow.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was saying, if us, even us as individuals, we can do it. So maybe you notice that you're actually feeling down, you're feeling sad and everything. You can do it in form of art journaling. You know, you do your mindfulness exercise, you breathe in, breathe out. You know, deep breath relaxation, and the deep muscle relaxation therapy. It also works
Yeah.
with breathing as well. So you breathe in, breathe out. After taking your deep breaths, you actually ask yourself, how do I feel today? If I'm to explain or if I'm to describe how I'm feeling with a shape, what shape would it be? If I'm to describe how I'm feeling with a color, what color would it be? And then you start making art gradually, gradually, from nothing to something. You might not even have it figured out when you're starting out, you know.
Okay,
So
okay.
yes.
Describe how you're feeling with a shape or a color. So if you're listening, I see Edo Queen, Adeniran Dorcas, and Lucy Blessing. So just type in the chat room, describe how you're feeling with a shape or with a color. Describe it, describe, type it in the chat room. Let's see. Describe, let's beg
Okay,
Dumebi
okay.
to please analyze for us. Just type it. I'll tell you, their response. But this wow,
Okay.
when you said something about color being having an effect on our minds, I've realized that sometimes when I'm in a happy mood, I wear bright colors. Do you understand? I wear bright
Hmm.
colors. Maybe wear lipstick, paint my nails, do all of those things, and unconsciously I did it.
Yeah.
Now I know it's a reflection of how I'm feeling. And then times when I'm tired,
Yeah. Yeah.
like Josephine is spent, that this girl has done a lot. You see it in the kind of clothes I wear. You see it even the way
Yeah.
I type. You know that I'm tired, apart from looking at it on my face, but you see it. So it's amazing how art can be used as a tool. It can even be used as an assessment tool, like what you're doing. Like the lady, the borderline personality
Yes.
lady, in the beginning she came, everything was dark. So you've assessed that her inside,
Yeah.
as a result, no, she's just coming into rehab, she's still in a dark space. But with
Yeah.
medication, with therapy, with nursing care, you can see that,
Yeah.
your work is getting better. So it's like a feedback to the team that she's getting better or she's not getting better as a result
Yeah.
of her artwork. So I'm like,
Yes. So
wow, yeah. And what you
it has
said
a lot of
about,
effects on us.
yeah, and then what you said about, having, closing your eyes and thinking of something, is it good, is it bad? If it's good, hold on to it.
Yeah.
And if it's bad, watch it fade away. That's like giving me the power over what is not so good, and then I'm watching you fade away. So describe that thing
Exactly.
again. Please describe it again. Do it again. I want to do
So, for
it again.
example, I tell you, create a picture, an image in your mind.
Okay.
Just focus on the image. So you're creating the image based on how you feel currently, based on how you feel currently. So you're focused on the image. Now I want you to focus on the details on the image. What do you see? Is it a positive image or is it a negative image? You know. So if it's a positive image, hold on to it. You're going to refer to it sometime in the future. But if it's a negative image, let go. Just watch it fade away. Watch it fade away. Blow it away. So actually just blow it away and you watch it fade away. You know. Then
Wow.
now you're going to replace it because nature abhors vacuum. So you're going to now replace that image with a picture based on hope. A more positive picture based on hope. So what do you hope for? What are the things you hope for? Right. So when you start looking at the picture you created based on hope, you start focusing on details. What are the colors you see? Pick one color, just pick one color from there. You know, what is the texture of the artwork? Is it rough? Is it dusty? Is it smooth? Is it glossy? Does it have texture? Hello? Yeah.
Wow.
So
So let me give you a
once one has been able
feedback.
to to paint such a picture in their mind, then you now hold on to it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Wow, thank you so much. A lot of people say they are learning a
My
lot. I'm
pleasure.
also learning a lot. Please go and follow him. That is Pi.
Hey,
He's very affordable.
thank
He
you,
can have
thank
one or
you,
two sessions with you, and you feel really like.
thank you.
Let me confess. Let me confess. I've been on my desk all day looking at my laptop. I've been working, and my head has been very, very hot. I'm like, I just need to be strong for this session today. So when this exercise, let me tell you what I
Feel free.
let me tell you what let me tell you what I envisioned. So the first time what I saw was I saw a glass with a half liquid was inside, it was half.
Hmm.
Okay. But when you said if I don't like it, I should watch it fade
Hmm.
away. But in my own watching fading away, I saw, a feeling. So, my glass became full to overflow. And then I saw the details because he said I should not be detailed. So I saw the details. It was a glass of wine, an aesthetic glass. And then I'm thinking, like, so it means that I'm actually tired, but I need a refill because so on Saturday I start a 5 weeks program of pain to purpose. So I want a refill. I want to be a source of something like an overflowing fountain, if I could say that. So now I feel very relaxed and I feel charged up. So thank you so much, Dumebi, for this free this free session. And
Hmm.
honestly, so the muscles around my eyes are a bit lighter now, and
Wow,
I'm
that's nice.
yeah. Okay, so a few questions. Okay, so you know that I mentioned that
Thank you. So this was the short.
go ahead. I think there's a
Yeah, so I
background.
was saying this was the shorter version of it because of like time constraints. But like if it was in an actual therapeutic milieu, it would take more time, do breathing and all that. Like with the guide, you actually find out that you don't want to leave the world that you've created in your
Yeah,
mind. Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. God, you
I've
hear
done
my
it and I was
prayer.
shedding tears of joy.
Wow. I want to host a workshop. So I'm
I'm
speaking
telling
it
you,
into
not
the air
once.
right now. Wow. I want to host a workshop and I'm going to invite Dumebi to have a session. It's going to be, wherever it's going to be, Lagos, Abuja, the UK, what's there? I would invite Dumebi and we need this. We are so stressed and we are so tightened, even us as therapists.
Just let me know.
All right, yeah. God
Yeah.
helping. I'm going to have a physical workshop and a session dedicated to mindfulness. This is sweet. Woo! Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll answer the questions towards the end. We're
My
having
pleasure.
some questions in the chat room. So now I
Okay.
think I think you've already answered by all my questions because now I'm saying that my next question is can art serve as a means of communication for individuals who find it difficult to express their emotions verbally, and how can it be integrated in the therapeutic practices? So people who cannot talk or maybe cannot talk well, I think you've already spoken about it in autism. So
Yes.
if you can talk more about it, people that are not so verbal, or even people that are verbal but like they say, well, I'm an introvert, I don't like to talk in public. How can they use arts to improve their communication?
So arts can definitely be used as a means of communication, non-verbal communication. We see this a lot in children, for example. They have very limited vocabularies to explain some of the trauma they went through. The child cannot tell you I was I was I was like I'm just trying to look for one big grammar that we as adults use. You say
Sexually
almost today
harassed.
I was
Yeah.
burned out.
I was
I
burned.
was sexually harassed. I was sexually harassed, or I'm actually experiencing burnout, work burnout, those kind of things, or digital overload. I experienced digital overload. The things that we experience that weigh us down, but we can't really. Children can't say things like that, or I don't. I feel like my dad. I don't really get. There's this emotional connection I don't experience with my dad. The child might not be able to say that in words. Maybe they will just say, "Ah, my dad is never around." But if you look deeper, you
Yeah.
see that there's more to that. Maybe they are longing for an attention from their parents, you know. So it works very well for people who can't talk well, autistic people, children, people with speech disorders. Um, yes, so it can be used. So one way it can be used in fostering or improving or I think the other part of the question, I'm trying to paraphrase it, but from my understanding, how it can be applied in therapy
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
aid to improve non-verbal communication skills.
Communication.
So we have so we have things like metaphorical expressions. So in art, we
Okay.
use
What are
metaphors a
those?
lot. In art, we use metaphors a lot. So there are times when, for example, when I'm working with people who have addiction, there's one there's one there's one program I use a lot, and one of the sessions, I tell them to create their addiction monster. So when you create your
Hmm.
addiction monster, what does it look like? What sounds does it make?
Yeah.
How does it move? So there are times some people tell you the monster creeps in slowly, and when you probe further, you find out that it was just a metaphor for them to say, I don't know when the craving comes,
The
you know.
craving. Yeah.
Sometimes they tell you the monster moves very loudly. It moves very loudly, it doesn't even listen to anybody. Their craving comes like a rush. The craving comes like a rush, so um you can also use things like narrative building. So when I give an example earlier on, I talked about using collage. So
Yes.
collage can help
Yes.
them build a narrative from known to the unknown. Yes. So you're seeing pictures that can relate to what you went through, and then you start using it to create a storyline. Start building a storyline. You know, there's projective techniques. Projective
Mm-hmm.
techniques. One of the sessions, one thing I do in my sessions as well is, even generally psychologists use it. Projective tests and all that. So projective
Yeah.
techniques is just something very similar. So I could just tell you to make a drawing of somebody sitting outside of the house. So someone is sitting outside of the house and the person is thinking. So I tell you to give me a storyline of what that person could be going through, what you think that person could be going through.
Okay.
And I get to find out a lot about my clients from this particular kind of session. Because most
Wow.
times they'll just project their story on the paper. They'll
Yeah.
project their story
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
paper. So there are so many other kind of techniques like that.
Wow.
Yeah, you can use things like art-based dialogues. So, for example, when someone comes and they don't really know how to tell their story, how to describe how they feel, you know, you could just start with creating an artwork. And when you create the artwork, something like this storytelling now, you start having a conversation or a dialogue between the artist and the client. So based on the artwork you created, we're having a story, a conversation, a dialogue. And then from there, I begin to find out more about your situation or your experience, you know. So sometimes people who are dyslexic as well, they might not be able to write down all they are going through. So I can encourage them to do art journaling. So you don't really have to write everything you're going to sketch. Just sketch it out. You could be sketching out, you could have a jotter where you sketch out on, or an iPad where you sketch out on. You know,
Yeah.
wherever I'm going myself, I go with my Apple pencil. I don't joke with it at all. So I could just bring out my iPad, just make some sketches sharp sharp based on what I'm seeing there or based on how I'm feeling. So it's
Yeah.
like art journaling. When you go back and look through those artworks, it will remind you of this how I was feeling on so day. Or for example, whenever this kind of thing happens, I begin to feel like this.
It's,
So you create associations in your mind, you know.
yeah.
So it's just like someone who is depressed. Yeah, you tell them when you're feeling, journal every time you begin to feel down, or journal every moment you begin to doubt yourself. What happens before the self doubt starts? So they begin to, yeah, with journaling you can keep track of things like that. So
Yeah.
yes,
So that you can prevent. Wow. So
yes,
that
so
you
you
can
can prevent.
prevent, such down moments or work
Yes,
on it.
yes,
Whew. I
you can predict it
remember,
and then prevent it.
yeah, I remember when I worked, so I volunteered for an event. So people with hearing impairments, they were
Yeah.
deaf. That's when I even learned, you shouldn't call them dumb. You should call them mute. It's either they are deaf and mute or they have
Oh,
partial hearing. Yeah.
oh
And
wow!
these
I just answered
people,
that.
yeah, yeah. If you see what these people do with their hands, they can't hear or they can partially hear, and the art is either they are making bags or they are making hand fans. I was like, wow. And that's how they were able to communicate with us. So apart from sign language, so this means I love you. I can never forget
Oh,
2018,
oh wow!
right? Yeah.
I've
If
learned
you
that
check when
one.
you when you're typing I love you on, let's say, on WhatsApp or something, this sign will come up. This means I love you,
Oh
you
wow!
know, sign language.
I haven't
Yeah, so I
noticed that.
learned that.
Okay.
Okay, so apart from um sign language, I'm looking at it now. Even people with autism, they are really, really good artistic, or in the art parts. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then if those people are upset, it shows in the way they play. So if some, for example, someone, an autistic child or an autistic man, right, his playing is not coordinated. So you ask him, oh, Mr. John, what's the problem? And then there's a way he tell you maybe he's hungry or he's not happy, and that's a way of communicating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so apart from people, these are people with mental health issues and all of that. But for people, neurotypical people, like you mentioned, if you're feeling sad, you can always journal. If you're feeling happy as well, you can journal.
Yeah.
So very, very important. Super grateful for all that you have done. And yes, so my final question is: can we use art to prevent, mental illnesses or mental health issues? Because I know mental illness may be a bit more complicated, but can we prevent some mental health issues like burnout, imposter syndrome, things like that?
Yeah. Yes, art can be used as a very good tool for preventing mental health issues. And I would take for example emotional regulation. Emotional
Hmm.
regulation. So having a constructive way to express our emotions. So there was a time when I went to a rehab in Abuja, and there was a patient there, and the guy, he used to beat his wife. It was part of the issue they had. Whenever he had anger management issues, and whenever he gets angry, he beats up his wife and all that. So we started trying to show him other ways to express or to explore, or we try to explore other ways of expressing his
Hmm.
anger. And good a thing, he liked art when he saw art therapy. So we started teaching him some things, and then told him that when you get home, whenever you get angry, create art.
Hmm.
One of the luck he has was that he sold one of his artworks. Immediately he stepped out. One of the artworks he created in the during his time in
Heat
the
of the
rehab.
moment.
He sold one of them immediately he stepped out. So he was motivated. He had a
Hmm.
barbing salon, he just started creating art and selling alongside there. So we told him create art whenever you beat your wife up. In fact, there was a time when he started ordering for a lot of canvases that I started joking with him. I said, is this how often your wife angers you? Is this how often your wife like you could finish 5 to 6 canvases in 1 week? And I'm like,
Wow.
is this how often you get angry? You know. So that
Hmm.
one now he has learned emotional regulation. I didn't really get any
Regulation.
report again
Yeah.
of him beating his wife. Hopefully he stops it. So
Amazing.
emotional
Amazing.
regulation,
So,
that's one very big one. Then stress reduction.
okay.
Okay,
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. No, no, no.
Okay, so okay. So there's stress reduction. When we open, we can use art as a way of reducing stress. So that you don't even get to a point where you get burned out in the first place. So, for example, when you're working in the office, you're doing something, at some point you begin to get overburdened or something. It's okay to actually bring out 30 minutes or 20 minutes. You don't have to be a very good artist. You could actually or you create what's it called? You could draw a flower, or even every adult is advised to even have a mandala booklet. A mandala booklet is like a coloring book that adults would enjoy as well. So it's not cartoons that are there, but you see some abstract shapes. And when you put your colored pencils on it, you see that you created a very beautiful work of art. It could turn out to be a traditional mask, it could turn out to be flowers, it could turn out to just be a series of patterns. You know, they have so many artworks in the book. All you have to do is just put color on them. So you could do that 30 minutes or 20 minutes out of your work schedule. And you see that it helps you to actually connect with your inner child and then relax a little bit as well. So self-expression and self-identification and identity formation is another very important one. So self-expression and then identity formation. So for teenagers, especially when you're trying to form your identity, there are times when you have this cognitive dissonance in your mind. You know who you are, or you're not sure of who you are, but you know the kind of things you like and the things you don't like. You're still trying to form that identity, and then there's no other way of saying of trying to explain it to somebody else. You could actually explore it. You know, be it your talent, be it whatever aspect of your identity you're trying to form out. You could actually explore it in art. And then when you create artworks, you can look back at the series of artworks you created, the kind of things, the similar things in the stories. See, this is what I'm likely to enjoy. There was a time when I went back to, it was early this year. I went back to some of the artworks I did in 2018, and it told me a lot about how some things that have manifested in my life now, how I wanted them after that 2018,
Wow.
2017. You know, yeah. So I was trying to see, maybe I was probably still facing quarter life crisis as at then, trying to form my identity, trying to find out what I like, what I don't like, and all that. And it was telling in my artworks, you know. So identity formation can also help you. It can also help prevent mental health breakdown in the future. Then there's creativity and problem solving. Art can improve your creativity and your problem solving generally. So I think it's self-explanatory because when you have a better way of you develop better problem solving skills, you reduce the chances of having a mental health issue, a mental health breakdown. You know, then there is social connections. Like I said, man is a social animal. There was a research that was carried out, I think, 5 years ago in the US, and they asked majority of people, it was a survey actually. They asked majority of people that when you're feeling down, who are the do you have how many people can you talk to explain how you feel? I think it was 6, 7 years ago thereabouts. They asked and then they said, oh, I have an average of 4 friends. I have an average of 4 friends, 5 friends. Those were the most recurring numbers. They carried out that same research this year in the US, and they asked majority of the people, and majority of what they were just saying is, I don't even have one friend that can actually explain how I feel. And you see,
Wow.
it's not. I don't think it's a coincidence that depression rate has increased as well. So we are now becoming more individualistic, and it's telling on our mental health. You know, so
Yeah.
art can help. Yes, art can help in creating that connection again. You know, either through joint projects, you and your friends can do a joint project. There's something I do whenever I'm hosting an exhibition. I put a canvas, an empty canvas, in front of the gallery. So once you're coming in, you're going to take a paintbrush, dab it into a paint, and then you do something. So you're just going to do half. You're not going to complete it. So everybody that comes for that exhibition are going to paint on that canvas. So together, they join together and they can together create a complete artwork. That is a joint
Wow.
project. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, so you and your friend can actually say you want to go for sip and paint, or you just invite them over. You buy a canvas. Canvases are not expensive, and you say, "Oh, I want us to actually do a joint project," you know, or even as a clique of friends, or as colleagues in the office. You just pick out one day and then do something like that. So art creates connections as well. Helps us to bridge that gap, you know. And then there's prevention of isolation as well. So it avoids, it helps you to not just be isolated to yourself. When you create an artwork, you want to share it with your friends. You want to share it on either social media, or you want to tell more people about it, you
About
know.
it.
And then finally, yeah, finally, it gives like early intervention. It helps us for early intervention. So when you start creating art, or you go for an art therapy session, or even as a teenager, you have like a teacher, or can you hear me? Okay. You have like a
Yes,
teacher
I
or
can
a
hear you.
parent that checks in on you, or checks in on the kind of artwork you create. You can start spotting certain early signs of depression, early signs um, of a mental health issue.
Yeah.
Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Early intervention. Yeah, go ahead. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, maybe I can hear you. I
Are you
can hear
there?
you. Yes, I can hear you. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So while we wait for maybe to come back, if you're just joining us, you're welcome. This is the November edition of the encouragement series, and we are talking about my mental health, art as a useful tool, and our guest who has blown our minds. Wow, his name is Dumebi Okuagu. He's a psychologist, he's an artist, and also an art therapist. Also, he's a comedian. Yes, he has a couple of skits on TikTok. And he has led us through a couple of insightful ways we can use arts as a useful tool. He even did a very short relaxation exercise for me, for us. And then, I had to give my feedback and I feel refreshed because now understanding that art is not just about the painting, but it's about the drawing, it's about the writing. Art is about the speaking, yeah, because there's an art of public speaking. So it's about the singing, it's about the dancing. He talked about drama therapy. So it's still about art and how these things, these different types of art can be used to, improve connections with people, express emotions well. It can be used for mindfulness, stress reduction. We're facing a lot of stress. You even talked about how art can be used as a way of knowing who you are, which is amazing, forming your identity, creativity and problem solving. So I want you to know you're listening or you would listen later on is that use art for your advantage. Don't tell me that, I think I even told you maybe one time that, oh, I can't draw. You say it doesn't matter. Just pick a pen and just do something. Express yourself. All right, because you want to feel better or
Yeah.
because you want to even be better generally. Because I've realized that journaling helps. Ooh.
Yeah.
When I look back at my journal,
Yes.
I wrote 2014, 2015. I was like, wow, some of those things I was writing and praying to God for is what I'm experiencing now. So you don't know the extent to which the way you express yourself using art would go. So don't say that you're not a good writer. That's what I used to say. I struggle with writing, but I'm good at speaking. But I can still learn. I know you told me that you learned how to draw. So art can be learned. So thank you so much, Dumebi. And you talked about how it can be
Thank
used for
you.
early intervention in terms of detecting, okay, why is this person using a lot of dark colors? So you can now find out, okay, what's going on. Could there have been harassment? Could there be have been rape? Could there be neglect? So it's like
Yeah.
a pointer to
Yeah.
something going on wrong or something going on right. Okay, so
Very true.
we've come to the end of our session. So I'm just going to read a couple of questions now. Please feel free to write your
Okay.
questions in the comment section and I will read it for our guest. So, you know, when you told us to pick a shape, so someone here picked a triangle. So, what does that mean to describe how she's feeling?
Yeah.
What's a triangle?
You know,
Yeah, what's a triangle?
the triangles. Okay, so I might not have a let's say rigid answer to them off by heart right now, but
Okay.
it's when I have a conversation with the person, I get to know because it's also subject to your individual experience,
Project.
like what you're going through. So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's now they will now marry. Yeah. So a triangle
Mm.
could mean
Okay, okay, okay,
one
okay.
person
So
that you're very rigid, and then you know
okay.
you actually focus on let's say detail, for example. It could mean that for some persons, for somebody else, it could actually mean that you just have three siblings and you love them so much, you know, and so it's just showing the connectivity between the three of you. You know, so it depends on the
Okay,
individual
connection.
person's experience. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I agree because in terms of assessment in psychology, it's not really straightforward. You need a lot of you need a lot
Yes.
of information to be able to come up with something. Okay, so someone else is saying, "I love
You know,
colors." What could that mean? Someone is saying that. Okay, so it's blessing. She loves dark colors. She loves dark colors. What could that mean?
so
Any
one thing
significance?
it's just like what we just talked about. It depends on your individual experience as well. But uh, generally, when you start with dark colors, it could actually mean that you're in a dark place at the time, you know, or it could just mean that you dark colors, for example, it always has an origin. So maybe you figured out that when you wear dark clothes, it brings out your complexion more, and then you just start leaning more towards dark colors. Yeah. Or it could also just mean that you're really introverted. You're really
Yeah.
introverted. So it could also mean yes. Yeah. So it
See the
could
way,
also
sorry that I screamed. Sorry that I
just
screamed. Because I think
no
that
no trouble. So yeah.
introversion works. Yeah. Because now that I'm thinking, I know someone, he don't buy him anything bright. If you want to buy him anything, let it be dark, let it be navy blue, let it be dark blue, let all of those colors because he doesn't like attention. Complete introvert. He doesn't like, so he said that
Yes,
when it's
yes.
bright, a lot of attention is on him, which he doesn't like. So yeah, it could mean the person was
So imagine.
from a dark space, or the person is introverted. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
This person says she loves white. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anything. Maybe that too is about brightness, purity. There are a lot of explanations for this.
Yeah.
A lot of explanations for this.
Yeah. It's not
Wow.
like a one size fits all kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
Wow.
like a one
I
size fits all
think
kind of thing. So
that's yeah. This introversion one just blew my mind because I'm like, why would somebody just like dark colors like this? So now I
yeah,
realize it's the
it just be that
attention
person's
that he
comfort
does.
zone. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Because the
It's
person
their
doesn't want
comfort
to
zone
feel
basically, that
seen.
dark color. You just feel okay. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Wow. I'm still gonna do more study on these colors because I think I like it.
Very
I
true.
think I like these colors and how it influences our minds. Yeah, and that is why if you notice for children, they like a lot of bright colors because they'll even tell you that use colors to
Yeah.
stimulate their mind so that they can, be connected. If you go to a play group, a play group class, all of their everywhere is bright, everywhere is color. So it's just to stimulate the mind to show the effect of colors on the mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Children. Okay, I was saying
Go
children
ahead. Go
at
ahead.
least
Go ahead. Go
below
ahead.
the age of 7. Children below the age of 7 downwards, they are very imaginative. In fact, they often can't tell the difference between their imagination and reality. You know,
Yeah.
so those bright colors help to give them tools or aid their imaginations as well. So just give them this imagination of the beautiful world generally. So yeah. Other cartoons are very colorful. Children playgrounds are very
Yeah.
colorful as well.
Yeah.
Yes, just do
So
them. So you
funny.
can't just start introducing a child to only dull dark colors when you know that these colors have an effect on your mind. You know,
Yeah.
imagine what kind of
Yeah.
child that would grow to be.
Exactly. The child not be stimulated, and then of course, we need children's brain to be stimulated so that they can grow. Hmm. Wow. Thank you so much, maybe.
Yes.
We don't have any more questions, so people are clapping, clapping. Wow. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It's been an amazing session. So please follow Dumebi Okuagu. He's an artist, he's an art therapist. He's very flexible, and trust me when I say he is good. So I'm not just flattering him because of the session, but I have worked closely with him. So if you want one-on-one sessions, he does
Yeah.
one-on-one sessions, he does group sessions, or you're hosting an event and you need someone to have an art therapy session, or just like he said, sip and paint, just have conversations. Please reach out to him. Maybe where can we find you? Please tell us where we can find you.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. My Instagram is Dicepine. So that's DICEPINE_. So like
Okay.
Dice Pineapple, DICEPINE_. My TikTok is just Dicepine, DICEPINE. Yeah, so my Twitter is Art Dicepine. So ART and then Dicepine. So yeah, any of these platforms you can reach me there.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I also posted his social media handles on our page, so you can just go back. I also tagged him. Please, this conversation should not die here. I'm very serious, maybe. I have spoken it now. I'm waiting and writing down in my journal. I'm gonna have a workshop by God's grace, and I would invite you to host a session using art as a useful tool for our mental health. I'm super, super grateful. Please, do you have any final words for us?
Thank you.
Maybe a word of encouragement for someone
Yes,
who is struggling with their mental health? Please speak.
thank you. First of all, I would seize the opportunity to say well done for what you do. Like, actually follow your word. The encourager herself. So many people need, those that encouragement. You know, I had a very dark childhood, and if I had one person encouraging me at least, I
Wow.
probably would have gone through some of those things, better. So it's a very good work you're doing. Trust me, it goes beyond the immediate payment you're going to get from it. Just keep doing it, and trust me, one or two um, persons are actually getting touched. So that's it. And then for everybody that came out, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a delight to talk about. I am passionate about mental health, so being able to share it with people that are willing to listen is also an honor as well. So thank you very much. Um, Whatever you're going through, just know that it's not the end. Just remember when you were going through something 2, 3 years ago, and you felt like that was the end of it, and somehow you scaled through. Always remember that you've always been scaling through, and you're going to keep scaling through. So it's really it's whatever you're going through, see it as an opportunity for growth. Don't see it as you're actually stuck now and then all that. And then try to everybody needs a therapist, trust me. So always keep it in your budget. You might say it's too expensive and all that, but when you price mental health drugs, you know that it's safer for you to actually get therapy first before you go and start getting antidepressants and all that. So everybody needs a therapist. Try once in a while, reach out to a therapist, get tell them about your state of affairs at the moment, you know, and then you help tell you how to better navigate things. It's not only when you're broken mentally that you actually go to therapy. So yeah,
Yeah.
what's your mental health? feed the
Mm.
mind that feeds you.
Yes. Ooh, feed the mind that feeds you. Thank you. I don't want to say too much because I have really been blessed by this session. So I just want to keep it, maybe keep it. Thank you so much, maybe. We're definitely going to
Thank
do
you.
greater work together. I salute you for the great work you're doing.
My honor.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone, for joining. We'll be having our last
Bye.
episode next month, the last Thursday in December 2023. Also, for announcement, we're starting Pain to Purpose on Saturday. That's in 2 days.
Yay.
Yeah, 2 days. So if you still want to register, please reach out to me anywhere on Instagram or Sophia underscore Josephine or the Encourager Consulting Group across all social media: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah. So thank you so much to our guest once again. We appreciate you and see you next month. I don't want to tell you we're going to bring, okay, let me just say, we're going to be talking about my mental health as someone in tech. So we're bringing a man in tech and a woman
Mm.
in tech, as a tech bro and as
Mm.
a tech sis. So
Mm.
please, you shouldn't miss this if
Okay.
you're in tech. So, all right, I'll see you
Exactly.
next month. Bye.
All right. All right. Take care.